ほら、ルフィ、今一緒に海賊になる仲間を探してるんだ。
Hello guys, welcome to my channel The Wandering Zoro, your go-to destination for anime-related content. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest videos. In today's video, we're going to be diving into part 2 of the series. So be sure to stick around until the end. And let's get started. Nobody's POV. We see two figures sitting in front of the respective hospital beds. These two figures were none other than mother of Izuku Midoriya and mother of Kitsuki Bakugo, Inko Midoriya and Mitsuki Bakugo. Both of them were looking at their own respective children who were unconscious on the hospital bed. They both were worried for their own child. Ever since finding out about the first fights between their sons, both Inko and Mitsuki hadn't spoken to each other. It has been 2 weeks since that incident. They thought that their children would forget about their fight amongst each other after 2 weeks' rest from school. But it didn't go exactly as they expected. As soon as their sons went to the school after 2 weeks, their respective sons got into fight with each other again. Both Mitsuki and Inko were in the same hospital room because their sons were placed right next to each other. There was an awkward, intense silence in the room. Both Mitsuki and Inko didn't utter a word or couldn't come up with any sentence to have a conversation. The awkward silence and tension was broken by the stirring of both their sons Izuku and Kitsuki. As both Izuku and Kitsuki opened their eyes slowly. As soon as their sons opened their eyes, both mothers went towards their sons respectively. Izuku's Shirokawa POV. As I tried to open my eyes, but my eyes failed very heavy. So I opened my eyes slowly. When I opened my eyes, I found myself looking at the white ceiling and laying on a soft bed. When my brain proceeded the information, I quickly jolted up to check my surrounding. But when I jolted up, I felt like my whole body was torn apart. I felt my whole body aching in pain. I felt pain in every part of my body. I felt like my body was hit by a running train. When I was in immense pain, suddenly someone came towards me and hugged me tightly. The person who hugged me was none other than my mother Inko Midoriya. She quickly let go of me. When she found out that I was in pain, she put her hands on my shoulder and checked me if I was okay. She began to ask me various questions. When I tried to speak, my voice came very hoarse and rough. Me? I am okay, Mom. But how did I end up in the hospital? In a hoarse and hissing voice. Inko, oh dear, don't you really remember anything? You were found lying on the backyard of the school while Kitsuki was on the road. As soon as I heard those sentences, I suddenly remembered the bet, challenge and fight between me and Kitsuki. I was in loss of words and was in a deep thoughts like, what's happened in our fight? Who won the fight? I could only remember up to giving our everything in our last attack. After that, it was a complete blackout. I don't remember anything after that. While I was in a deep thought, I was brought out of it by the gentle shaking of my mother. When I looked at her, I saw her giving me the look of worry. I gave a nodding look and told her that. Me. Don't worry, Mom. I am all right. I was just trying to recall the event at the backyard of school. After hearing those words, she looked relieved. After a while, I thought maybe I should ask the system about the result of our fight. After a while, I decided to go to toilet so I can be alone. As soon as I tried to get up from the bed, I quickly fell and hit the ground. My mother quickly came and helped me on feet and walked me to the bathroom. As soon as I reached the bathroom, I quickly shut the door. After a while, I made sure that I was alone. Then, I asked the system. Me. Hey system, what was the result of the fight between me and Kitsuki? System. Don't you really remember the result of the fight, host? Me. Nope. I don't remember after blackout, that's why I asked you. In a face-palming manner. System. Well, host, the result of the fight between you and Kitsuki was that you. After a long minute of silence later. Well then let me actually show you what was the result after the huge clash between you two. After reading the message or notification of system, I began to twitch violently. I was very pissed at system that I yell at it. Me. If you are already going to show me what really happened after our clash, then why did you bother to hype me up like you were going to tell me directly? System. Well, It was to see what kind of hilarious face would you make after my little joke, ha ha ha. LOL. It was worth to see a loser host like you in that tense moment. After reading those notifications from system, my eyes began to twitch violently and I was really pissed at the system. Before I could remark against the system, it decided to show me what happened after our final clash. Flashback 2 days ago. Nobody's POV. As we see both Izuku and Katsuki rushed at each other with both giving their everything in their final attack. As soon as their fists clashed with each other, a huge explosion and shockwave was produced around their surrounding. The explosion and shockwave sent Katsuki flying across the destroyed bars and fence and landed tumbling across the road, while Izuku was sent flying across the ground until he hit his back at the tree. Katsuki was knocked down after their final clash. Meanwhile, Izuku slowly tried to get up but quickly stumbled on his knee. But after a while, he slowly stood up on his feet and walked a few meters before he passed out. End of the flashback. So you mean to say that I won the fight because I was still standing for a few seconds before passing out? System. Yeah, in technical term, you won the match against Katsuki Bakugo. So, congratulations to the host for completing the quest, and for the increasement of difficulty, the rewards are also given accordingly. Following rewards are being given to host. Rewards. Silver Bone Forging Pill X4. Inventory and shop has been unlocked. Skill Alchemy has been learned. He has leveled up. Skill Key Circulation has leveled up. Skill Close Combat has leveled up. The host's body state has been turned to mediocre state. Skill Close Combat has turned from basic to beginner level. Skill Key has turned from basic to beginner level. Skill Key Circulation has turned from basic to beginner level. After reading the system's notification, I was very pleased and happy because I got various reward from completing my missions. Not only that, my closed combat skill, Key, and Key Circulation has leveled up and turned into beginner level. My body state also went up from normal to mediocre. When I was being happy and in my own thoughts, I was brought out of it by system's response. System. Don't get joyful and happy already. You had just entered the beginner level, and that doesn't mean that you had become strong. That means that you had just slightly improved. Besides, there are a lot of hard quests waiting for you in future. After reading the system's response, my eyes began to twitch violently. I was getting pissed from the system because my happy mood was ruined by system. After taking a deep breath, I sighed and asked the system, "Me? Hey, system, can't you at least be happy at your host progress? Besides, I had improved a lot in just 2 weeks." System. Nope, I can't after looking at your miserable state from the fight against a young child who is just 10. LOL, ha ha ha. After reading the response of the system, I couldn't contain my rage, so I shouted at the system, "Me, you idiot, couldn't you be at least give me a compliment?" System. Nope, I can't. Besides, I love to see you suffer. It brings an excitement and joy to me when I watch you suffer. LOL, ha ha ha. Me, you mother father, if you were a person I would have killed you. System. But I'm not a human. LOL. After reading the response, just when I was about to shout again, my mother voice stopped me. Inko, Izuku honey, are you alright? You have been cursing and shouting in the bathroom for a while. After hearing her voice, I was embarrassed and shocked, but I quickly composed myself and replied, "Me? I'm fine, Mom. I wasn't the one shouting and cursing. It seems that it was someone outside the hospital was shouting and cursing." After giving my lame excuse, she somehow believed me. But the system was laughing and mocking me. System. Someone from outside was cursing and shouting. Yeah, right. What a lame excuse. Fut. Ha ha ha. After reading the system response, my eyes twitched again, but this time I quietly replied, "Me? Laugh as much as you want, you idiot." With that said, I got out of the bathroom and tried to walk to my hospital bedroom, but I stumbled again and was caught by my mother again. My mother walked me to the hospital bedroom, and I laid on the bedroom and looked up at the ceiling. There was an awkward silence in the hospital room because right besides next to my bed was Katsuki's bed, and his mother was also besides him. After a while, both my mother and Mitsuki left the hospital room because it was getting dark. There was again an awkward silence between me and Katsuki. We both didn't utter a word. To remove the awkwardness, I quickly turned my back from him. After a while, I thought about checking my status. So I said stats, and system showed me my stats. Status: Host: Izuku Midoriya Shirokawa Akira. Title: Weakling Deku. Body status: Mediocre stage. Bone status: Calcium stage. Age: 10. Quirk: None. Skills: Calm Mind passive. Observation basic level active. Close combat beginner level active. Key circulation beginner level active. Key beginner level active. Alchemy basic level active. Item: Silver Bone Forging Pill X4. Required: X7 more for a complete Silver Bone Forging Pill. Acquired key amount: 2 here worthwhile. After reading my stats, I was happy. I didn't even bother to check the inventory, alchemy, and store's description, because I knew about them by reading various manga, manhwa, and manhua. With that, I closed my eyes and went into a deep slumber. Nobody's POV. It was early morning at 7, when both Izuku and Kitsuki stirred their eyes and woke up. When they woke up, they still find themselves in the hospital bed. When they made eye contact with each other, there was a tense awkwardness between them. Neither of them has spoken to each other since waking up at the hospital bed. This awkward silence continued for a few more seconds, but it was broken by Kitsuki. Kitsuki, F this trash. I can't handle this awkwardness anymore. Hey Deku, who won the fight between us, me or you? After hearing from Kitsuki's statement, Izuku contemplated for a bit whether to tell the truth to Kitsuki or not, but after a while, Izuku spoke. Izuku: I don't know. I guess we can call it a draw. In his mind, yeah, a draw is better. I don't think you would accept that. You lose to me. After hearing the statement from Izuku, Kitsuki was about to yell or say something, but he held himself and paused and thought for a second. Then he spoke again. Kitsuki: I guess we can call it a draw. After a while, another silence was surrounded in the room, but it was broken by Izuku. Izuku: So why did you agree on my statement of letting our match becoming a draw? Usually you would go against every decision I make. You would even go so far that you would beat me to the pulp to go against my decision. Don't you hate my existence itself? After hearing the statement, Kitsuki paused for a second, but answered quietly and hesitantly. Kitsuki: I don't hate you or your literal existence. In a quiet voice. Izuku: What did you say? I can't hear you. Can you talk little loud and clear? After Izuku's statement, Kitsuki's eyes began to twitch violently, and then he yelled loudly and clearly. Kitsuki: I said that I didn't hate you, UMF. Yelled loudly and angrily and was also embarrassed to admit. Izuku: If you didn't hate me then, why did you always bully and beat me up? Why did you always hated my decision? Kitsuki: I never hated you. I just hated your kind gut. You were too kind for yourself. When you stood against me, I always thought that you were looking down on me. Guess my reasons changed into regular bullying whenever I was angry with you about your decision. For that I am sorry. I know my apology might not be much, but I hope you would forgive me. After a few seconds of silence, Izuku spoke again. Izuku: Are you really sorry for what you did to me? Did you truly feel regretful for your actions towards me? Are you really feeling guilty for your actions till now? Kitsuki: Yes, I truly regret it now for doing that. You were the one who opened my eyes. I was just jealous of you because, deep down I knew that, if you became a hero then, you would be a better hero than me. After hearing Kitsuki's statement, Izuku felt that he was genuinely sorry for what he did to him. He also saw regret and guilt on Kitsuki's eyes. So, Izuku decides to forgive him. Izuku: You know, just looking at your eyes that I can tell that you are truly sorry and regretful of your actions. Besides, I think I know why you were like that. Because fighting the strong opponent is really exciting and entertaining. Dominating the opponents in the fight is more exciting and entertaining. Besides, I think I have also started to love fighting against anyone who challenges or gets in my way. I also think that I also love fighting strong opponents. So, that's why let's become friends again, Kitsuki, and fight against those who stand in our way. After hearing those words, Kitsuki was in a shock for a second, but he quickly recomposed himself and told Izuku, "Kitsuki, I would love that. Yeah, let's become friends again and beat those who stands in our way." After that, both boys laughed and talked. Both of them were having some light conversations. Before their conversation could escalate any further, they both were interrupted by the sudden opening of their room's door. From the door, two figures came. There were none other than Inko and Mitsuki. What surprised the both mothers and the sons were that both of them were talking to each other. After a few seconds of silence, Mitsuki spoke. "Mitsuki, looks like you two had ended the conflict between the two of you and had once again become friends." "Kitsuki, yeah, you are right, old hag. We both had sorted out with each other. Besides, it's not just us. Looks like you two had also solved the problems between you two." "Mitsuki, yeah, we both also had sorted out with each other. Besides, our friendship was about to be ruined because of you two." At this, both Izuku and Kitsuki looked the other way. At this antics, their mother laughed with each other. After a while, they started the conversation again, but Izuku noticed that something was off. Izuku Shirokawa POV. As I and Kitsuki sort out things between us and were conversing with each other, but we were interrupted by the sudden sliding of the door. As we saw both our mothers talking with each other, and from the looks of it, I think both of them had also sorted out with each other. It was confirmed by Mitsuki after Kitsuki asked him about their friendship. After a while, we were having the conversation, but while having the conversation with our mothers, I noticed that something was off about the conversation, so I decided to bluntly ask them, "Me, Mom, is there something that you want to tell us about? If so, please tell us about it directly." After hearing my statement, both our mothers were in a shock for a second, but they quickly recomposed themselves, and then my mother spoke. "Inko, how did you know that we wanted to tell you something?" "Me, I just felt that something was off about our conversation." After that, Mitsuki sighed and told us. "Mitsuki, well, because of the fight between you two brats, there was quite a commotion, and due to that, two people would like to interrogate you too. Inko, we were about to ask you if it was all right to let those people interrogate you." After hearing the words, both me and Kitsuki looked at each other. After some thinking, I spoke. "Me, I am all right with it. Besides, I am sure even Kitsuki won't have any problem from a small interrogation." After my statement, both my mother and Mitsuki looked at each other and nodded their heads. After a few seconds, my mother left the room to get those people. As I was in a deep thought, who would be the person to interrogate us? I was brought out of my thoughts by the sudden sliding of the door. When I looked towards the door, I was in shock and was surprised because in the door right besides my mother, two people were standing. They were none other than Detective Neomasid Tsukochi and Shouta Aizo, aka Eraserhead, the underground pro hero. I couldn't believe it that I was meeting two most important figures in character of the MHA. I was in a deep shock and thought, how can this be possible? How am I meeting Eraserhead and Detective Tsukochi even before the start of the actual story? This shouldn't have happened this early. I clearly remember reading the manga that Izuku would meet Eraser at UA and Detective after the Hosu incident. I was brought out of my stupor by the system's notification. "System, host, you should calm your brain before it gets fried from your deep thinking." After reading the system's notification, I nodded my head and focused on the interrogation that was about to happen. "Tsukochi, hello. I'm Detective Tsukochi, and the guy next to me is Shota Aizawa, and he is a hero." After hearing those statements, I looked at Kitsuki and found that he was about to panic, so I spoke instead of him. "Me, I'm Izuku Midoriya, and this guy next to me is my childhood friend Kitsuki Bakugo. May I ask what you guys want with us?" After my statement, Kitsuki looked at me with a shocked expression on his face, and I just nodded my head saying, "Let me handle this." Kitsuki wasn't the only one who was surprised. The adults were also surprised. After a while, both Tsukochi and Aizawa recomposed themselves and spoke again. "Aizawa, we would like to ask you guys about the incident that occurred at the backyard of your school." After hearing those words and statement, both me and Kitsuki froze for a second, but I quickly recovered from and spoke again. "Me? Well, what would you like to know about, and what incident are you talking about?" After my statement, both Aizawa and Tsukochi's eyes widened a bit, and they both looked at each other for a second and nodded their head. After a few seconds, Aizawa sent a little glare at me and said, Aizawa, same incident that sent brought you both at this hospital, and don't play any innocence and answer us truthfully. After his statement, various questions and thoughts run in my mind. Like, if I told the truth, we both would get punished for sure. But I can't lie either, since Tsukochi has lie detecting quirk. So best way to dodge this situation is to tell them half-truth. After a while I spoke. Me? Very well. I shall explain from the start. Since I and my friend had a huge conflict between us. Before this incident, we had fought each other 2 weeks earlier. Even after our fight, our conflict didn't settle. So I decided to settle this once and for all. So, I challenged him in front of everyone. Plus, I had to see who was stronger between us. The fact that I challenged my friend spread to whole school quickly. Everybody came to watch our fight, but we quickly dispersed them, since we didn't want to humiliate each other in front of everyone. And this is the result of our fight. After my statement, all the adults in the room were looking at me and Kitsuki in shock and disbelief. Even Kitsuki was looking at me in a shocked manner. After a while, everyone regained their composure, and then Tsukochi asked, Tsukochi, does the teachers know about the fight between the two of you? Me? Are you stupid or something? Didn't I told you that the whole school knew? If I had said whole school means everyone in the school you know. After my statement, another question was asked again. This time it was Aizawa. Aizawa, didn't the teachers try to intervene between the two of you to negotiate peace between you two? Me? Nope. Aizawa, why didn't they intervene if they knew that students were fighting in the school? Me? Because they don't care what happens to the children. They would only care if something happens to their reputation. Besides, they don't even care if a student with a weak or villainous quirk or quirkless gets bullied. They would only care if their star student or those students who have potential to be a great hero with their strong quirk gets into trouble. Otherwise, they wouldn't care if their star student bullies those who are weaker than them. Aizawa looks at Tsukochi and asks, Aizawa, was he telling us the truth or did he lie? Tsukochi, no, he didn't lie. Everything he said was true. After hearing Tsukochi, statement silence rung over the room. There was a heavy atmosphere in the room. After a while, Aizawa spoke, but his voice was strained with venom and I could tell he was angry. Aizawa, well, thanks for your time and statement. We will investigate the school thoroughly and would make sure to shut the school down. With those statements, both Aizawa and Tsukochi left the room, and a tense silence rung through the room. Izuku Shirokawa POV. After my statement, both Aizawa and Tsukochi left, but there was a tense silence in the room, as both my mother and Mitsuki looked at me and Kitsuki with a face of dread, worry, and horror. Soon enough, my mother quickly engulfed me in a hug and began to sob uncontrollably. During the sobbing, she managed to speak to me in a sad tone. Inko, I am so sorry, Izuku. I should have noticed about you being bullied at school. I should have been there for you when you needed me. I'm sorry for being weak, Izuku. After hearing those words and action, I was shell-shocked and surprised because in my past life nobody had cared about me, not even my own parents. In my past life I didn't have this much caring parent. When I was Shirokawa Akira, my parents used to look at me with the eyes of disappointment. They used to only care about my siblings. I used to get neglected by my own parents. But here I am, receiving the love and warmth here in this manga world from a green-haired woman who is Izuku's mother. I think I thought of her as my mother from the moment she cared about me. I will do anything to protect her even if it costs my own life. After a while I separated from her hug and told her, Me? I'm okay now. Besides, nothing will happen to me from now on. It's not your fault that I didn't told you about bullying. After that, we all were having a light conversation. Soon, night came and our mothers left the hospital room. Now it was just me and Kitsuki again. Kitsuki, what? You told the truth about our school and gave them false statement about our fight. Me? Well, I did say the truth even if it was halfly true and halfly false. This way I can get my revenge against the school. I said those words with an evil smirk. Kitsuki shivered a little when he looked at my face. But he composed himself quickly and told me, Kitsuki, you are one hell of a nasty manipulator. Me? What? I was getting revenge on the whole school. After hearing my words, Kitsuki facepalmed. He answered sarcastically. Katsuki, yeah, you are one hell of a saint. Correct me if I am wrong. A few days ago, before challenging me, you provoked those weakling before school, and then as soon as the fight started, you sent them to the hospital and put the blame on others. Then you acted innocent in front of the teacher. Even after Katsuki's statement, I was just smiling to myself sweetly and innocently. Katsuki shivered a little bit again, but angrily told me, Katsuki, hey, you crazy. Just get that innocent and sweet smile off your face. It's disgusting to watch that smile on your face. Me? Fine, but you owe me one. Katsuki, yeah, I know. I owe you one. After a while, we were having another light conversation. In the middle of the conversation, Katsuki asked another serious question. Katsuki, so, what do you think will happen now that you had told the truth about the school? Me? I think the school would be closed and all the teaching license of those so-called teachers would be cancelled and their career would be ruined. Katsuki, yeah, I think you are right. But anyways, it doesn't matter to me whether the school is shut down or not. Me? Yeah, same here. After a while, a peaceful silence rang throughout the room. Then after a while, Katsuki spoke again. Katsuki, hey, what would happen to us now? Me? Don't know and don't care. Let's just sleep. I'm feeling sleepy. After my statement, both Katsuki and slept silently and peacefully. A few days later, Izuku Shirokawa POV. A few days had passed after the interrogation. Me and Katsuki were having a light conversation on the early morning, but our conversation was interrupted by the sudden sliding of the door. When me and Katsuki looked at the door, we both saw our mothers on the door along with Tsukochi and Aizawa. After seeing Aizawa and Tsukochi, I groaned at myself for encountering them again. Nobody's POV. When both Aizawa and Tsukochi ate the room, a deep silence rang throughout the room. After a while, Aizawa spoke. Aizawa, well, we are here to tell you guys that your school Aldera have been shut down permanently. All the teachers of that school's teaching license has been revoked. Some had even got arrested. After Aizawa's sentence, another silence fell over at the room but was broken by Izuku. Izuku, thanks for informing us, but can you please tell us what business does you two have with us? After hearing Izuku's sentence, both Aizawa and Tsukochi were shocked by how clever Izuku was. After decomposing themselves, Aizawa spoke again. Aizawa, well, we are here to give you guys your part of punishment. After hearing those words, both Izuku and Katsuki were in shock but quickly regained their composure and started shouting loudly. Aizawa was having trouble to keep them quiet. He was getting tired and irritated from their shouting. Aizawa's POV. As the both problem children were shouting, I was thinking about the time I first saw them. It was a few days ago. As I was going to start my patrol with my usual route, I suddenly heard a big explosion coming from near the area. I quickly rushed there to see what the commotion was about. When I reached there, I saw a blonde-haired kid lying on the street. I quickly rushed towards him to check if he was okay. I sighed in relief that he was still breathing and was just knocked out. I looked at the surrounding to check if it was a villain attack, and when I looked at the backyard of the school, I saw another child passing out while his back was leaned on the tree. I immediately called the ambulance for them after checking their pulse. While ambulance was on the way, I checked through their body and clothes to find their identity. After a while, I found their student's ID and found out their name and address. I also find their parents' contacts. As the ambulance arrived the backyard of the school, I let them take the children into hospital. I also got on the ambulance. After getting on the ambulance, I quickly contacted their parents. After getting them to the hospital, I waited for their parents' arrival. After a while they arrived and I interrogate them for a while. After interrogation, I quickly left from the hospital and called Tsukochi for help. After a while I met with Tsukochi and we both began to march towards the area where I picked those boys. When we looked at the area, we both were shocked because the place was a mess. We found out the signs of battle happening the backyard. I thought who would be the person that those children were fighting. After investigating the place till mid-noon, we both thought that it would be best for us to interrogate the children themselves. When the children regained their conscience, we immediately asked the parents for permission to interrogate their children. To our surprise, both parents agreed to let us interrogate them. If only they agreed. We both agreed that we would only interrogate if both of them agreed. After that, both me and Tsukochi went inside the hospital. We both waited outside the hospital room of those children, while their mothers were in. We waited for a few minutes until one of them came outside and told us that the children are willing to answer our questions. After that, we went inside along with the parent. Both me and Tsukochi asked the children some minor and simple questions. Both me and Tsukochi were in shock by the answers of the greenite. It was somewhat suspicious of our answer. It felt like he was telling us half-truth. If it wasn't for my experience as an underground pro hero, I wouldn't have been able to differentiate if it was full truth or not. But after hearing his statement about the school, I got very angry because I was also a teacher. I was furious that the teachers were negligent about bullying in that school. After interrogating with them for a while, both me and Tsukochi left the hospital. As soon as we left the hospital, both me and Tsukochi decided to investigate about the school. After a few days of investigation, both me and Tsukochi found out that the green-haired boy was speaking the truth. We immediately reported this to Nedzu, and with the help of his connection and blackmailing, he shut down the school forever. After that, we decided to visit the boys to tell them about their school along with their punishment. But here he was being annoyed by the children as soon as they heard they were going to face consequences against their actions. Their shouts and anger were calmed down after a glare from their mothers. As the children calmed down, I began to speak again. As I was telling you guys that you two were going to face the consequences of your actions. Based on your age and action you two had pulled, we decided that you two will be doing community service for 6 months and will also train under me. We will be observing your every action for 6 months. After my statement, silence rang over the room. Both boys were surprised for a second, but suddenly the green one spoke. Izuku, that's it. All we had to do is 6 months of community service alongside. We have to train under you. After his statement, I nodded my head for exclaiming that he was correct. While both the children and their parents agreed for their punishment. After a few seconds, both me and Tsukochi left the hospital. After that, I went inside the car and drove myself home, and while I reached home. While opening the front door, I thought to myself, from tomorrow onwards, it is going to be fun day for me and hellish day for those two brats. With that thought, I went inside and closed the door. Nobody's POV. Meanwhile, at hospital, as Aizawa was thinking about Torchirio's training schedule and methods, chill ran throughout the whole body of both Izuku and Kitsuki. They both shivered a little. Nobody's POV. We see two boys laying on the park hiffing and panting. Both of them were very tired. They felt like they could die at any moment. They also felt like they were in hell and was being tortured by the devil himself. These children were none other than Kitsuki Bakugo and Izuku Midoriya. Besides them, a tall, black-haired, hobo-looking man who was standing behind them with a grin. This person was none other than Shouta Aizawa, aka Eraserhead. Shouta Aizawa was having a great time by torturing or making the children's training hellish, and he was enjoying every moment of it. But for both boys, it was like literal hell. Izuku's POV. It has been a week since we started training with Aizawa, and to tell you the truth honestly, this is hell. That homeless hobo is the devil incarnate himself. He enjoys torturing. Training us to the bone. Well, I wouldn't mind if it can help me get very strong and also help me break through to the next stage of body status. I think I need to level up my training more. I don't have much time. Well, you may ask me why I am in such hurry to have a breakthrough in body status. Well, it is because the system has given me a mission. If you are wondering what's the mission then, let me tell you from the start. Flashback a few days ago. Izuku Shirokawa's POV. After both Tsukochi and Aizawa left the hospital, I was a bit relieved that we didn't get any big punishment. But it was still annoying that the heroes would now keep an eye on me. I thought to myself that I could handle it if it was just 6 months. With that thought, I was about to fall asleep when suddenly the system notification appeared in front of me. System. A new quest has been prepared for the host due to the change in the original story. Mission. Reach at the peak stage of the human body before the end of training with Aizawa. Rewards will be given as per the host's performance. Failure. Weakening host body back to its past self. Hamper a friendship with Kitsuki Bakugo. After reading the mission that system gave me, I sighed heavily because I knew that mission was going to be a difficult one, but I couldn't do much since the system had given me the mission, so I sighed again and went to deep slumber of sleep. After a few days, both me and Kitsuki were discharged from the hospital. We were both picked by our mothers each, and we both went on separate ways when we reached the apartment. Kitsuki and his family lived a few blocks away from us, so we separated. After reaching home, I went to my room and quickly fell at the bed. I was woken up from my sleep by my mother. She came banging at my door and told me to wake up. "Inko, wake up, Izuku. It's morning." When I opened my eyes a little bit and looked at the alarm clock, I was big irritated and told my mom, "It's 4 in the morning. Let me just sleep till 8. After hearing my answer, my mom sighed and told me, "Inko, Izuku, did you forget that from today onwards Aizawa is going to train both you and Kitsuki? He told me to wake you at 4 a.m. After hearing my mom's words, I groaned in annoyance and told my mom that, "Mom, it's okay, that hobo ain't gonna do a thing if I don't show up. Besides, he doesn't even know our home address. So it's okay." After hearing my words, my mother was about to scold from outside, but she was interrupted by a gruff and deep voice. "So, you are saying that I didn't know your home address and that I couldn't do a thing to you, huh?" As soon as I heard that voice, I quickly jolted from my bed and opened the door. When I opened the door, I found Aizawa giving a death stare at me. As soon as I saw Aizawa at the door, I gulped nervously. Then, I spoke hesitantly. "Hello, sir, how may I tell you?" "Aizawa, I'm a hobo here." In a deadly glare. After hearing those words, I spoke nervously. How much did you heard?" "Aizawa, everything, each and every word." After hearing Aizawa's words, I quickly tried to run away from my room but was caught by Aizawa's scarf. He then yanked me back towards him. Then I hesitantly asked, "How did you find my home address?" "Aizawa, I have my ways." After hearing those words, I thought for a second and I quickly looked at my mother with a glare, who turned away from my glare. She wasn't even making an eye contact with me and was whistling. After that, I was dragged outside of my house by Aizawa, and then we went to Kitsuki's house to get him. He also had to go through the same process as I, at which I couldn't help but laugh. After that, we both were dragged into a park. They told us what we will be doing for the next few months and about our training and routine schedule. When we looked at the schedule, we both were shocked because in the schedule we both had to woke up at 4 in company here at the park and do the following exercises: 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 squats, 30 kilometers running, and then at afternoon we would have to do some community service of cleaning the beach. We had to head home at 8 p.m. and then the routine continues. I was shocked when I looked at Aizawa. I knew that this man knew no mercy. I was brought out of my thought by Aizawa's stoic and gruff voice. "Aizawa, now that you had looked at the schedule I prepared for you, now you are going on your training. Your training schedule will change accordingly on time by me." As soon as he said those words, both me and Kitsuki started doing exercises that was on our schedule. First, we started with push-ups. As we reached at 200, we both were very tired, but that hobo man was a SLV driver in training. He glared at us harshly and told us to complete our push-ups. We both completed the 1,000 push-ups after 3 hours. As soon as it was completed, we both fell on the ground panting. We both were tired and hungry. When we finished our push-ups, Aizawa came and asked us, "Aizawa, did you guys finish your 1,000 push-ups?" At this question, both M and Kitsuki nodded our heads. When he saw our nodding head, he smiled and told us softly, "Aizawa, here, eat these breakfast which your mother's made for you and rest for 15 minutes afterward." After hearing those words, I smiled and thought to myself, and here I thought he was just a crazy SLV driving trainer or maniac, but I guess I was just wrong. I was brought out of my thoughts when he spoke again. "Aizawa, oh, I forgot to tell you guys that after 15 minutes rest, you guys will be finishing all the exercises without any rest till noon." As soon as I heard those words, I just thought I'd take back what I just thought about him. He was just a maniac trainer who looked to torture his students through training. I groaned a little bit from his words, but sighed and started to eat my lunch. After lunch, both me and Kitsuki had 15 minutes of rest. After that, Aizawa told us to go back to the exercises, which we did. After push-ups, we had to do next was 1,000 squats, which we started, but after 250 or so, our leg began to tremble. I felt like a very powerful heat was running through my legs. Even when I felt like I should give up, I didn't give up. I continued to do squats. After reaching 1,000, both me and Kitsuki landed on the ground and were lying on the ground huffing and panting. To finish the squat, it took us another 3 hours. By seeing our exhausted state, Aizawa came towards us and gave us energy drinks to both me and Kitsuki. We both were stunned for a second, but we quickly recovered from it. Then he spoke. Aizawa, have some energy drink and 5-minute rest. After that, you two will finish the last remaining exercise. After hearing his words, we both nodded our heads slowly. After drinking the energy drink and some rest, we began running throughout the park and city. We thought that we could just run up to 1 kilometer and decided to tell him lie, but I didn't realize that how my plan was about to be fail. When I told him that we had finished our exercise of running, he glared at with a stern and icy gaze and spoke. Aizawa, you guys still have 29 kilometers to run. Don't try to lie to me. I had put some device on your wristband which is connected to my phone. It tells me how much your progress on exercise is going. Now get going, you still have 29 kilometers to cover. After his words, we both groaned at our misery, but we both began to run again. After another 3 hours, we completed our 30 kilometers run. We were both exhausted beyond belief, but the man gave us a grin to us. After that, Aizawa told us to have lunch and some rest. After lunch and having some rest, Aizawa told us to get up and to get ready for combat training. After hearing the word combat training, both me and Kitsuki were excited and gave him a mad grin of our own, which I thought Aizawa noticed. After a while, he told us, Aizawa, you two will fight with against one. It will be 1 versus 2. I only want to test you guys, so I won't go all out. At this statement, both me and Kitsuki got enraged, and when he told us to come at him, we both dashed at him with our fist. After the fight with Aizawa, I was groaning in the pain. Every part of my body ached. Both me and Kitsuki were lying on the ground with bruises and some injuries, and we both glared dagger at the person who was showing us his grin. It was none other than that hobo, aka Aizawa. It looked like he was having time of his life while beating us. I thought to myself, holding back. I don't think he was holding back while fighting us. I was brought out of my thought by Aizawa. He came toward us and told us, Aizawa, although your combat abilities were quite good but not good enough. Also, don't feel bad about losing against me. You guys were losing against any because you guys lack real combat experience. After hearing his words, I knew that he was right, so we both stayed silent, but then he made us do some community work despite our body condition. After 4 hours, he dropped us off home and told us that this was going to be our daily routine for the next few weeks. After that, he left. As soon as I reached home, I quickly opened the door and went towards my room for some sleep. After all, it was done tiresome day. End of flashback. It has been a week since we started training with him. Nobody's POV. We see 3 figures climbing a mountain hill. One was an adult-looking homeless hobo whose name was Shouter Aizawa. The other 2 figures were 10-year-old children. They were none other than Izuku Midoriya and Kitsuki Bakugo. Aizawa was having a great time of his life while climbing the mountain with a very few utensils and things, while both Izuku and Kitsuki were having very hard time carrying tons of things and utensils on their back. Both Izuku and Kitsuki were panting heavily while climbing up in the hill. They both were glaring at Aizawa. Ro was giving them a grin. He was enjoying every moment while looking at the misery of the 2 children. Izuku's Shirakawa's POV. I was very pissed and angry at the hobo who was the cause of our suffering. He was showing us his famous grin of his even while climbing the hill. It has been 3 months since we started to train under him, and my body state hadn't had any breakthrough to the peak stage yet. Well, you guys might be wondering how this camping and trekking idea started. It started a few days ago. Flashback a few days ago. Izuku's POV. Both me and Kitsuki were finishing our daily exercises and chores. As we finished the chores and were resting at the bench for a while, that's when we saw Aizawa coming towards us. When we looked at him, we saw him smiling creepily. A chill ran down through our spines by seeing his smirking face. Silence rang throughout the atmosphere until Aizawa broke it for us with his words. Aizawa, go home and start packing your things with clothes, food, and necessities. When he said those words, We were both confused as to why he was telling us to pack our things, clothes, food, and necessities. As I asked him about it after a few seconds of silence. Me, why are you telling us to pack our necessary items, foods, and clothes? Where are we going? After my question, a few seconds of silence rang throughout the atmosphere. Aizawa looked perplexed whether to answer our questions or not, but after a few seconds he spoke up. Aizawa, well, we are going on a camp in a special location. When he said those words, both me and Kitsuki were shocked for a moment, because when he said those words about camping in a simple and sweet manner, we got suspicious, so I asked again. Me, why are we going on a camp and where is this location? What about our daily chores? As soon as I spoke out those words, a sadistic grin appeared on the hobo's face, and I didn't like it. As we saw his sadistic grin, sudden chills ran down through our spines. Both me and Kitsuki shivered a little as he began to speak. Aizawa, well, for the next few months or days, you won't have to do community service anymore. Instead, you guys will be training for all day long in the camp area. He said those words with a bone-chilling smile plastered on his face. After hearing those words, both me and Kitsuki shivered a little. After a while, we both sighed and gave ourselves into our fate. We knew that it was meaningless to fight against this man, even if we tell our family that we didn't want to go to the camp with a hobo. I am sure this hobo has already convinced our family to let us go on the camp. With heavy sighing, both me and Kitsuki walked towards our home. As I separated from Kitsuki a few blocks away and reached my home. When I reached my home, I saw my mother Inko greeting me. Inko, welcome back. Izuku, come and sit on the table. The breakfast is ready. I know you are hungry. I serve the breakfast in a few minutes. After hearing her words, I was surprised because in my past life there was nobody to greet me when I reached home from my school. My parents would have simply ignored me and would have just focused on my siblings. They wouldn't even care if I had eaten anything or not. So, hearing Inko whom, I started to accept her as my mother, saying, welcome home, and asking me to sit on the table while she served food for the dinner. It made me feel warmth inside my heart and also made me happy. I happily replied to her, me, okay mom, I will first go wash my hands and take some bath first. She just nodded her head after hearing my words. After that, I went to the bathroom and took a bath. While bathing, I was thinking about the journey I had up until now, and I was happy about it. I never thought that my wish would come true. After taking a bath, I felt relief and refreshed. After the bath, quickly went towards the dining room for dinner. Both me and mom had dinner quietly and peacefully. After the dinner, I brushed my teeth and was about to go to my room to sleep when my mother stopped me and told me, Inko, Izuku, wait. I forgot to tell you that I had packed all your belongings for your camping. Me, how did you know about camping, and who told you that I was going on the camp with that hobo and that hot-headed Pomeranian? As soon as I finished those words, a chill ran through my spine because when I looked at my mother, she was giving a very sweet and innocent smile and then spoke. Inko, Izuku, what did I tell you about disrespecting and cursing at others? Me, not to disrespect, swear and curse at others. In a scared tone. Inko, and what did you just did a moment ago? Me, I didn't do anything. I just gave them my respect to them. After hearing my answer, she glared at me and told me, Inko, what did I told you about cursing and disrespecting others? Izuku, you should respect your seniors also. You are going to the camp whether you like it or not. After hearing my mother's word, I groaned at my situation and let out a sigh and told her, me, yeah mom, whatever you said. I think from your statement you are hell-bent on sending me to the camp. After hearing my words, my mother sighed herself and told me, Inko, now go to the bed and wake up early in the morning. Me, okay, good night mom. Inko, good night son. After saying good night to each other, I went towards my room and got on my bed. As soon as I hit the bed, I felt my eyelid becoming heavy. Soon sleep took over me and I slept peacefully. Next day, I was awoken by my mother's knocking at my door. I opened my eyes and got out from the bed and opened the door. When I opened the door, I saw my mother standing with a smile and told me, Inko, Izuku honey, get up and get ready for your camp. Aizawa might arrive here at any moment. After hearing those words, I fully opened my eyes and told her quickly, me, I told you, Mom, I am not going to the camp with that hobo and that Pomeranian. After saying those words, a chill ran down through my spine, as I saw my mother smile very sweetly and told me sweetly and innocently, Inko, Izuku dear, you are going to the camp whether you like it or not. You have no choice in this matter. Do you got my words? After hearing those words from Mother, I quickly nodded my head and told her hesitantly, Me, ye. Yes, Mother. After my word, she went back to normal and the dark aura around Yuet vanished. After that, she patted my head and told me, Inko, Izuku honey, I will wait for you at the dining room and set the breakfast. You go and get ready quickly. After her words, I sighed and nodded my head. Then, I went to take a bath. After taking bath, I brushed my teeth and washed my face. After that, I quickly joined Mother for the dinner. After having breakfast, there was a knock on our door. When I went and opened my door, I groaned at myself because there at the door was homeless-looking hobo aka Shouter Aizawa. Silence rang throughout the surrounding, neither him nor I utter a word, but that was broken by my mother who came at the door. Inko, oh, Aizawa, good thing that you came just on time. I was about to send Izuku to you. He just needs to go and wear his dress which I had taken out for him from the wardrobe. After hearing those words from her, I just sighed and gave up myself to the fate of camping with Aizawa. I went Yomai and changed into the dress which Mom has taken out for me. After changing, I quickly came down and grabbed my backpack which was packed by my mother. Then after a while, I left with Aizawa and headed towards the Bakugo's house to pick up the Pomeranian. After waiting for a while, the Pomeranian came out of his house while shouting at his mother. After that, we all head towards the train station to take the train. After taking the train, we all left from the train at Hokkaido Station. After leaving the train, we all went to the bus station and took the bus. While on the bus, none of us spoke up with each other. It was very quiet and peaceful bus ride. After reaching at the final station, all three of us got out of the bus. After getting off the bus, all three of us began to head towards the forest. Both me and Kitsuki didn't ask any question to Aizawa like, where were we going and where was our destination? After 5 hours of walk, Aizawa decided that it was time for breakfast. After having breakfast and resting for 15 minutes, we decided to continue our journey. While walking, I decided to ask him a question. Me? So, where are we going, Eurasia? What is our destination and how long will it take to reach there? After asking the question, there was a few seconds of silence. I looked at Aizawa's expression when I asked the question. After hearing my question, he had a very perplexed look on his face. By looking at that perplexed expression, I thought that he was debating in his mind whether to answer my question or not. After a while, he spoke. Aizawa, I won't tell you where we are going, but that much is sure that it would at least take us 4 days to reach our destination, so we will keep walking and we'll camp at night here. After hearing his answer, both me and Kitsuki frowned but didn't say anything to him because both me and Kitsuki knew that anything we said at this point wouldn't be good to us. So we stayed quiet and went along with Aizawa. At evening, we decided to set our tent and camp. Both me and Kitsuki were ordered to collect the firewood and set on the fire while Aizawa decided to set up the camp. At night, we prepared our food. After eating dinner, all of us went to sleep. Into the flashback. Izuku Shirokawa's POV. It has been 4 days since we started walking towards our destination, and we are feeling very tired because of a Suddy's hobo who suddenly got an idea of putting weights on our body while carrying all the luggage and the bags on our second day of camping. Both me and Kitsuki were glaring at the hobo while walking. We both weren't sure when we would reach our destination. As I was thinking about this, I was suddenly brought out of it by Aizawa's voice by saying, Aizawa, we have arrived at our first destination. When I looked at my surrounding, both me and Kitsuki were very shocked. Nobody's POV. In the deep forest, we see a hobo-looking man smiling sadistically at the sight in front of him. This hobo-looking guy was none other than Shouter Aizawa. He was smiling sadistically and amusingly at the scenario playing in front of him. You guys might be wondering why Aizawa was in such a great mood. Well, the thing is, Aizawa was having great fun and time by putting his temporary students in hell. Those students were none other than Kitsuki Bakugo and Izuku Midoriya. They both were lying on the ground and were looking like they could pass out any second. They both were looking like they had been through hell. When both of them collapsed on the ground, Aizawa came towards them and told them, Aizawa, who told you to stop? Did I even told you guys to stop? Didn't I told you guys that you both wouldn't stop doing the exercises until I told you? Did I or not? After Aizawa's statement, both Kitsuki and Izuku were silent for a second, but after a while Kitsuki answered. Kitsuki, yes, you did told us to continue our exercise until you told us to stop. Izuku Shirakawa POV. Both me and Kitsuki were on our knees and were glaring at Aizawa for the hell that he was putting us through. We both were panting very heavily in us. Been doing these kind of exercises daily, which was made by that sadistic monster. It has been almost a month since we have arrived here at the base of the destination. We still had to do the daily routine exercise and do all the chores while he does nothing but enjoys our agony. After a few days, he adds and changes our new training method every time. He would train us to the point where we can't even move our muscles even an inch. Well, you all might be wondering, when did this type of torture started and what type of exercises and training is being done by us? Well, you see, this all started a few weeks ago. Flashback a few weeks ago. Izuku Shirakawa's POV. Just as Aizawa told us that we had arrived at our first destination, we came out of the bushes and reached towards Aizawa and looked at our surrounding. But when we looked at the scenario of our camping site, both me and Kitsuki were shocked and mesmerized by the view. The scenario and view was one of the destination was one of the most beautiful places among the world. In that place, there was a cabinet for our sleeping, and across the cabinet was a beautiful scenery of waterfall. Besides that, the area was surrounded with beautiful flowers and trees. We both were brought out from our stupor by Aizawa. Aizawa, so, did you guys like the place and scenery? Kitsuki, yes, we both like the scenery. This place is one of the most beautiful scenery in the whole world. In my whole life, this is the first time I am seeing something this beautiful. After Kitsuki's statement, Aizawa nodded his head in agreement. After a while, he told us to head inside the cabinet and put our luggage in there. After putting the luggage at the cabinet, we both were called by Aizawa and told us that. Aizawa, okay boys, now that you two had put the luggage at the cabinet, now you guys need to do the job I am assigning to you two. After hearing his statement, both me and Kitsuki were shocked. It took us a whole to process the whole information on our brain. After a while, we came out of our stupor and Kitsuki suddenly yelled out, Kitsuki, what the hell? We had just reached here, and why should do what you told us to? You aren't our boss or anything. After Kitsuki's statement, silence rang through the forest surrounding. After hearing Kitsuki's question, Aizawa replied calmly. Aizawa, you need to, if you want to eat any food. We are here for a camp, for that we need to gather and cook food ourselves. This is what camping is all about. After hearing his statement, both me and Kitsuki nodded our heads. After a few seconds of silence, Aizawa spoke again. Aizawa, first of all, you two will go and collect firewoods for fire. After that, we will prepare the breakfast. I know that you guys are hungry. After his statement, we both reluctantly agreed on the task and went deep in the forest to collect firewoods. After a while, we gathered the firewoods and went back to the cabinet. When we reached the cabinet, Aizawa told us that, Aizawa, you guys left some firewoods down on the ground and other remaining woods in the cabinet. After hearing his words, both me and Kitsuki nodded our heads and left some firewoods on the ground, and then went inside the cabinet and put the firewoods beside the bed. After coming out of the cabinet, we saw Aizawa standing in front and staring at us. After a few seconds of silence, Aizawa spoke. Aizawa, now listen here, kids. I will teach you guys how to make fire with the firewoods only, when you have no other source like lighter to produce fire. After his statement, we both just nodded our heads. He then went and demonstrated us how to create fire with just stones and a wood or stick. After producing flame, he began to speak and explain us about our daily routine. Aizawa, listen here, brats. Today is the first day of the camp on the forest, so I am going to show and instruct you guys how one should survive in a forest if one doesn't have any tools. He then started to explain about basic needed to survive in the forest. He even showed and demonstrated in front of us. After that, he asked us if we understood all the things he demonstrated and explained, to which we just nodded our heads. After that, a long silence rang throughout the forest. It was getting awkward quickly, but it was quickly broken by Aizawa again. Aizawa, I also forgot to tell you guys that, from tomorrow, we will start our training again, and training will be intensified than before. So, today is the rest. Go and do whatever you guys like. After hearing his words, both me and Kitsuki were utterly shocked and bewildered at our situation. We both didn't know whether to laugh or cry at our situation, but one thing was sure that we had handed ourselves to the devil himself. After a while, breakfast was prepared, so we ate it. After breakfast, Aizawa took us deep in the forest to show us how to hunt animals and how to survive in the forest. He demonstrated every basic skills that was required to survive in a forest. It took whole day. When Aizawa finished his demonstration and lecture on the survival lesson, we didn't have the chance to have lunch. We then finished all our activities and headed towards the cabinet. At night, we prepared another fire and had the breakfast. After breakfast, we went to sleep inside the cabinet. The next day, Izuku Shirokawa's POV. The next, the hobo woke both me and Kitsuki at 4 a.m. by banging our head with each other. When we opened our eyes, we saw standing in front of us as we were rubbing our heads. As soon as I saw him, I was about to shout at him, when Kitsuki beat me at it and shouted, "Kitsuki, what the hell, hobo? Why did you bump our head with each other?" Aizawa, it was to wake both of you, as it is now time for training. At this, we both sweat dropped and then looked at the clock. When we looked at the clock, I got pissed and shouted at him. "Me? It's just 4 a.m. in the morning, though." Aizawa, so, do I look like I care? Hurry up and get ready in 10 minutes. I will be waiting outside the cabinet. With those words, Aizawa left the room. Both me and Kitsuki were left dumbfounded from his answers, but we both recovered quickly and started to get ready for the training. After 10 minutes, both me and Kitsuki went outside the cabinet. When we reached outside, it was pretty dark, since it was just 4 in the morning. We tried to search for Aizawa for a few seconds, but since it was dark, it was hard to see anything properly. After a few seconds of search, we saw a flash of light along with a dark figure walking towards us. As soon as we saw the figure holding flashlight walking towards us, we both knew who the figure was. It was none other than Aizawa. After Aizawa came towards us, he stood in front of us and told us, "Aizawa, now you brats have gotten prepared for your training. I am giving you guys your training schedule, as I have personally prepared it for you guys." When we looked at the training schedule that Aizawa made for us, both me and Kitsuki were shocked as our eyes got widened when we looked at the training schedule. After recovering from the shock, Kitsuki quickly shouted, "Kitsuki, what the hell? You hobo, are you serious about this training regiment? Do you really want to kill us?" Aizawa, "Yes, I am serious about this training regiment. Now go and start your training." After hearing his answer, I got annoyed and said, "Me, do you expect us to do 300 push-ups while wearing 10 kilograms weight on the body and run 30 kilometers also, wearing weights on the legs about 10 kilograms? After that, you expect us to do 300 curl-ups and pull-ups while wearing weights. After finishing all those exercises, you expect us to spar with each other." After hearing my question, Aizawa immediately responded, "Aizawa, yes, I expected you brats to complete all these training exercises within the afternoon and then have a sparring match with each other, and also occasionally with me. Now stop wasting time and start the training exercises." After hearing his answer, both me and Kitsuki got annoyed. We wanted to argue with him but after seeing his stern glare, we both complied on his request and started doing the training. Both me and Kitsuki wear the weights given by Aizawa on our body, leg, and arms. Overall, we both had 30 kilograms weight on overall body. After wearing the weights, both me and Kitsuki fell to the ground and were on our knees. We both felt like our body was being crushed by a heavy boulder. It felt like someone put a heavy boulder on our body. It got very hard to move from the place. Each time when I tried to move my body, it felt very sluggish and slow. When Aizawa saw us fell on our knees, he came toward us. When he came toward us, I felt someone towering over us. When I looked up, I saw the stern look on Aizawa's face. After a few seconds of staring, Aizawa spoke sternly. "Aizawa, what are you guys doing and acting like pathetic weaklings? Stand up and start your exercise," in a stern voice. As soon as he said those words, both me and Kitsuki slowly but surely got up and tried to do our exercise. Both me and Kitsuki decided to start our training with running. Me and Kitsuki started running or tried to run, as it was more like trying to walk properly due to the weights. When we moved our leg, every muscles of our body ached, but as we would try to run or walk as fast as we could, we slowly got used to it while walking, and it slowly turned into running. Both me and Kitsuki were running like a madman. I don't know what made us run like that, but we both were enjoying it. After 3 hours of running up and down on the mountain, both me and Kitsuki dropped dead on the floor. We both were panting heavily on the ground and were out of breath. While we were laying on the ground, Aizawa came towards us and told us that it was time for breakfast. Both me and Kitsuki tried to move, but we felt like we couldn't even move an inch of our muscles. But even then, with our willpower, we moved our muscles to stand up and have breakfast at the cabinet. When we moved our body, every fiber of muscles on our body ached. Our body was very sore just through running only. After eating breakfast, Aizawa gave us 10 minutes rest. After resting for 10 minutes, he told us to go back to our training exercise. After nodding our head forcefully, both me and Kitsuki went back to our training. After running, we decided to do 300 push-ups next. When we took the position and bent our body down, it felt like a ton of bricks were put on our backs, and when we tried to move our body up, our hands were shaking. It was very tough for us, just doing one push-up, and it felt like my entire body was being torn apart. But still, we had to complete the push-ups anyhow because Aizawa was watching us. So we did the push-ups even if our body was screaming for rest. After 3 hours, we both finished our push-ups somehow. As soon as we finished our last 300 push-ups, both me and Kitsuki collapsed on the ground and lay there for next 15 minutes. After 15 minutes of rest, Aizawa came towards us with some energy drink as we both were panting on the ground. He gave us the drinks and we drank it. When we drank the energy drink, we felt light and relaxed for a bit. After finishing our drinks, Aizawa told us to go back to our training, to which both me and Kitsuki nodded our head grumpily. After nodding our head, both me and Kitsuki decided to do 300 curl-ups. We both started to do curl-ups, but when we did even one, we felt like we were being pushed back to the ground by a magnet. We even felt like our legs and back were torn apart, but even so we decided to complete it. I don't know whether it was adrenaline rush or what. I felt like I could finish the exercise quickly. A smile was formed on my face just thinking about completing all of these exercises. After finishing the curl-ups, both me and Kitsuki laid on the ground panting. Our heads were resting on the ground. When I looked at Kitsuki, he had a smile on his face just like mine. After another 15 minutes of rest, both me and Kitsuki decided to move on to the next and final exercise, which were 300 pull-ups. As we went towards a tree branch for the pull-up, we both jumped and grabbed the branch of the tree and started to do pull-ups. When we just did one pull-up, it felt like every single bone and fiber muscles of our body would break down and torn apart. It felt like our body would explode at any second. Even so, we both did the exercises. I could tell that both me and Kitsuki finished our final exercise through just willpower. Others would have already gave up early, but we didn't give up and finish the exercise. After finishing the last exercises, both me and Kitsuki felt on the ground unconscious. Time skip at night. I slowly opened my eyes and tried to move my body. When I tried to move my body, every bone and fiber of my body ached very painfully. Even so, I moved my body and tried to stand up. While trying to stand up, a hand was placed on the shoulder. When I looked up, I saw it was Aizawa who put his hand on my shoulder. He began to speak. Aizawa, you should rest a little. I will bring you food. Kitsuki has also just woken up. After all, you both did great at completing the training. I thought you guys would take another week to complete the whole exercise fully, but you guys had surpassed my expectations. I was surprised at his words. Then I nodded my head and lay my back against the bed. When I looked at my left, I found Kitsuki laying his back against the bed just like me. There was an uncomfortable silence in the room. Both me and Kitsuki enjoyed the silence. After a few minutes of comforting silence, Aizawa came towards the room with breakfast and told us to have the dinner. We both grabbed the dinner and ate it slowly. After dinner, Aizawa told us that, Aizawa, you guys should go to bed early today. After all, you guys need to do the same training tomorrow, said with a smug grin on his face. After hearing those words, both me and Kitsuki dreaded for tomorrow, but we both quickly fell asleep as both me and Kitsuki felt very tired. The next day we were again awoke by Aizawa. But when we tried to move our bodies felt very sore. So even moving an ICH of the body was very painful. Even so, both me and Kitsuki decided to do and complete the training. But as time flew by, both me and Kitsuki quickly adapt and got used to the training. End of the flashback. And that's how our training started. Nobody's POV. While our Mac, Izukumariya aka Shirokawara Kira and Kitsuki Bakugo were training, deep in a cave a few meters away from the cabinet, someone was planning something sinister for them. 8 shadowed figures wearing cloaks were sitting on the cave. One of the figures spoke. "Welcome, guys. I called this meeting because we found out 2 more children for our client. They are right now staying in this forest just a few couple of meters away." So, this was the end of part 2 of this series. Stay tuned for next part of this series, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.